It is our duty as men to become the best versions of ourselves, to create a life that is worth of kings. Now, how do we become the best versions of ourselves? By actually making sure that we do what matters each and every time. We become the best at that. So when you are actually doing what matters to you, you become a best version of yourself. You earn more, you date higher quality women, you become the most jacked guy in the room. How do you do that? Well, we are going to answer that in this video. The inner critic is a liar. Don't listen to him. What he is saying, he wants to make sure that you become that weak version of yourself. The negative thoughts, each and everything that he is saying will never propel you to the next step of your development. We are answering this question. This question reads as follows: how to give your best in everything you do? This is an age-old question that we are going to answer. Now, the steps that I'm going to give here are practical, and when you do them, you become the best version of yourself. The justice that we can do to ourselves is to actually adhere to these rules and become the best versions of ourselves. To give your best in everything, it means that you have to adopt this mentality, the no excuses mentality. This mentality will allow you to see things as the way they are. For you to become that best version of yourself, you actually need to have no excuses. Because think about it this way: if Cristiano Ronaldo gave excuses that I'm not going to go to the gym, he might not have been the best person in the world to ever play football. So what you have to understand is you have to apply discipline. Discipline often evades us. This is a huge problem. But think about it this way. There's this equation that I want to share with you guys today. The name, it's not a name, but the equation is stress plus rest is equal to growth. You cannot grow if you do not put in the stress, which is the input in this sense. Now you have to give in the stress, and also rest, because when you do not rest, you will have clouded judgments, you will have burnout, and then you will never reach your fullest potential. How blessed are you to have people in your life that recognize that you have the potential, but you find yourself not reaching the potential because you are burnt out most of the time. So one thing that you can do today is to actually schedule a time and say, you know what, at this particular point in time, I am going to rest. Now, that is not time wasted because you have done the work. After having done the work, all the guilt will have gone and you will be left with the glory of the great work you have done. Mastery comes from taking the big chunks and converting them into smaller, manageable pieces. When we do that, we are answering this question, which is how to give your best in everything you do. Because when you are actually taking all of those things, you will realize that life is not as hard when you are breaking these smaller problems. Take, for example, public speaking, which is a problem to many people. You can take a book, you can take a video that details, it goes in to explain how to conduct yourself, and you do each and everything in those books or in those videos. And what you need to do, you need to rehearse in front of a mirror. You need to rehearse in front of a friend. You need to rehearse in front of your family. You need now to deliver what you have been practicing, which is why now breaking that big thing into a smaller thing is actually helpful for your journey into actually being able to know how to give your best in everything you do. Another tip you can use when you, for example, want to wake up early in the morning, you need to take the alarm or your phone, that is, place it far away from you so that when it rings, you wake up from your bed, you take the phone, and then you won't go back to sleep. That is a technique that will help you. Or another example, you want to break this huge problem of not being a healthy eater. You want to eat healthy when you are at work. Now, what you can do is you can stop stuffing your face with KFC and the like. What you need to do is to take no extra cash with you when you're going to work and make lunch. This will force you to eat healthier, eat the stuff that will make you best. So take each and every problem you have, break it into a smaller portion, and you will have an answer to how to give your best in everything you do. When it comes to answering this question, how to give your best in everything you do, you have to practice. There is this guy by the name of Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell spoke of the 10,000 hours to become a master in everything you do. So we have to deliberately practice. What you need to put at the back of your mind or at the back of your head is the fact that it has to be deliberate practice. You have been consuming a lot of information. You have consumed a lot of information on how to trade, on how to pick up women, on how to start a business, on how to whatever. But when you do all of those things, that's a great thing, but you need to get your hands dirty. It's not enough to read all about this stuff. You can know a lot. Let me ask you this question. How many things have you learned? Millions, right? But how many things have you applied? Because if you have applied, you would have known all of these things. So we are not consumers, we are doers. So get up to date, my man, and do what you are supposed to be doing. Do what will elevate you, and you will then have an answer to how to give your best in everything you do. Well, it's been a great ride, and there's still a lot to be said within this video. We are still answering this great question, how to give your best in everything you do. For you to be able to do that, you need to be able to apply this thing, which is known as what? A sacrifice. Sacrifice is a great thing when you are answering the very same question. We are living in a generation that allows the take it easy mentality. That is a scary thing, man. It's a scary thing, but most of us do not realize that because we are so very much concerned as to what other people are thinking, and we are not prioritizing ourselves in the process. What then can we do in order to be able to know how to give our best in everything we do? We have to sacrifice. We have to actually contain ourselves. We have to not go to the club. We have to not listen to the people that are not on the same path as we are, because when we pay attention to them, we are forsaking our goals. We are then not doing the best that we were supposed to be doing. The most important thing that we need to note is that rejection is also part of the process. You might say to yourself, what if I sacrifice and then I get rejected? Remember that J.K. Rowling, the woman who wrote the books about Harry Potter, she wrote so many books that the Bible worries about her.
My God, J.K. Rowling wrote all the Harry Potter books by herself. She sold so many books, the Bible worries about her.
She got rejected so many times, so many times, but now she is the most well-known person. I know that you have siblings and whomsoever's in your life that love Harry Potter. I don't love him as much, but it is what it is. We have Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone's Rocky was rejected many times. But do you know what the problem is? After they reject you and you keep on with your grind, you keep on sacrificing, you keep on just trying to answer this question, how to give your best in everything you do, they will call you a genius. So my man, an action step for you is just to always make sure that you ask yourself this question. What can I sacrifice today so that I can be able to know how to give my best in everything I do? I know it's been a great ride, man. Please click the like, the subscribe button. It's not yet done. We are talking about the same very old question, which is how to give your best in everything you do. And now we have to apply this to our self-development journey, which is actually analyze how we did. It's one thing to practice, it's one thing to master, it's one thing to do all of the above mentioned, but when you reflect, it becomes a very powerful technique because you are now auditing. What did I do well? What did I not do well? How could I have improved in A? How could I have improved in B? So when you understand where you are in your journey and you stop the cap, you don't lie to yourself, you will definitely be one step closer to answering the same question we've been talking about for however minutes we've been talking about. And I hope, man, that this makes sense to you. Whatever it is you are doing in your life, you have to apply all these small principles and become the best version in your life. Now, when it's all said and done, there's one thing that remains. When you are at the top of the mountain, you are at the top of Kilimanjaro, you are at the top of Mount Everest, wherever it is you are, you have to not look down on others, because those who look down on other people are worse than scum. What you need to do is to appreciate the help that got you there. Now we have answered the question of how to give your best in everything you do. When you have done all of those things, you will then be recognized as one of the greatest, and most importantly, you will build a reputation with yourself and you will be confident in the fact that you are the best in what you do. So my friend, thank you so very much for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please apply all of those things. Remember to act like a main character of your life, because that you definitely are.